Welcome to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. Here I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. It is Inauguration Day and means the people across the country watch Joe Biden get sworn in and become the 46th President of the United States. Or, as some people would say, the 45th president, because there have been now 45 presidents because Stephen Grover Cleveland was elected to 2 non-consecutive terms. So he gets counted twice, but most people would say 46. And then we saw Vice President-elect Kamala Harris get sworn in as well and become the first woman vice president, the first black woman vice president, the first South Asian vice president. And then Joe Biden got to work and signed about 15 executive orders. So we're going to do a recap of what took place today, what happened today. And we'll talk a little bit about those executive orders that were signed as well. Have some clips to share with you also. So a lot of people tuned in today, and I posted on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, about this. And pearls and chucks and pearls and chucks were trending. Chucks and pearls were trending today on social media. The AKAs were lighting up my timeline with their post about chucks and pearls. And then a lot of African American women all across the country were wearing chucks and pearls at Chuck Taylor's gym shoes, Converse, chucks and pearls at work today and watching the inauguration. So it's a lot going on, and a lot of people are breathing a sigh of relief also because we got Donald Trump out of office. And now it's time now the real work starts to push our own issues, push our own policies, and hold them accountable, as well as the new Congress, the 117th Congress. Now the real work begins. Now, unfortunately, this is when a lot of people tune out and go to sleep, and then in 2 years start complaining about what didn't get done, because a lot of them fell asleep at the wheel. Or in 4 years, talk about what they didn't do and all this stuff and fall asleep at the wheel. So this is a continuous process. This is the end of one stage or one process and the beginning of another process. This is what people have to understand. All right, so we'll talk some about that, what took place today, executive orders that were signed as well. We also know that Senator Kamala Harris swore in Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff as new senators from Georgia, and then also swore in her replacement in the U.S. Senate as well. So now Democrats have control of the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, to control in the Senate from Moscow Mitch McConnell, which is definitely a good thing. Even though McConnell's still in the Senate, he can still cause problems, but not as many problems as he could as Senate Majority Leader. He's now Senate Minority Leader. So we'll discuss that. Then Donald Trump issued, as we talked about on yesterday's show, Donald Trump issued 143 pardons and commutations. And we talked about some of those yesterday, late in the show yesterday when the news came out. And he also issued a pardon to Kwame Kilpatrick, former mayor of Detroit. Now, there's some mixed reactions in Detroit. but Kwame got a commutation, not a pardon. I know some people post, "Oh, Kwame got a pardon." No, he didn't get the pardon. He got a commutation. Now, a lot of the white criminals got pardons. A pardon means that the the rest of your sentence is wiped out, but the charges, the convictions, are wiped off your record. They don't exist anymore, and all your rights are restored. That's a pardon. Commutation means the rest of your sentence is wiped out, but those convictions are still on your record. That's a commutation. That's what Trump gave Kwame. Okay, a lot of his white criminal friends he gave pardons to. Okay, so but a lot of people are happy that Kwame will be out anyway. So we got some important information to share with you about that, to deal with the difference between a commutation and a pardon. Okay. So yeah, and then I'm going to share a second installment of an interview that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did on the Mike Douglas show on November 2nd, 1967. Okay, November 2nd, 1967. We dealt with the first part last night, and Dr. King was talking about his opposition to the Vietnam War. Okay, and we'll deal with some birthday shout outs today as well. All right, now on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, Kemet, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, Kemet, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and sign up for the email newsletter as well. Okay. And somebody asked, "Can you spell that for me?" What data are you referring to? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Who said that? Can you spell that for me? Francis. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Francis. All right, everybody, share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. If you'd like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, and also sign up or through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show, and at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there. Also, okay. All right. Let's see. We're coming up here on a break in a few minutes. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. There was a lot of black girl magic going on at the inauguration today as well. A lot of people were talking about 22-year-old Amanda Gorman, okay, poet laureate, who got millions of people watching her today, and her name is trending. Also, she recited a poem at today's inauguration as well. News1.com has a article here dealing with her. The Hill We Climb was the name of her poem. Amanda Gorman's inauguration poem has captivated America. Read it here, so you can check that out. The Hill We Climb. They also have News1.com also has they have another article dealing with the blackest inauguration ever, something like that. Okay. The blackest moments at inauguration. The blackest moments at inauguration. Okay. A roundup of the blackest moments of inauguration day. So check that out also by Sharice Frazier at news1.com. All right, I want to go to this clip. We're going to go to clip one. Shakita. So during Joe Biden's speech, it was about 21, 22 minutes. Joe Biden talked about, he called for an end to uncivil war, quote unquote, uncivil war between Republicans and Democrats. So let's go to this clip, Shakita.
Many of my fellow Americans view the future with fear and trepidation. I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering, can I keep my health care? Can I pay my mortgage? Thinking about their families, about what comes next. I promise you, I get it. But the answer is not to turn inward, to retreat into competing factions, distrusting those who don't look like you, or worship the way you do, or don't get their news from the same sources you do. We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, or rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts, if we show a little tolerance and humility, and if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes, as my mom would say, just for a moment, stand in their shoes. Because here's the thing about life. There's no accounting for what fate will deal you. Some days, when you need a hand. There are other days when we're called to lend a hand. That's how it has to be. That's what we do for one another. And if we are this way, our country will be stronger, more prosperous, more ready for the future. And we can still disagree. My fellow Americans, in the work ahead of us, we're going to need each other. We need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter. We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation. One nation. And I promise you this, as the Bible says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. We will get through this together. Together.
Okay. All right. Pause right there. Okay. We're coming up here on the break. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation of Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. The calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number. We'll be back in a few minutes.
For 25 years, the Black One-on-One Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most traversed Black history mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalil Hakim is founder of the Black History One Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, pop, and race relations. Dr. Khalil was named among the change makers for NBC Universal's Erase Hate Pain and listed as the 100 Men of Distinction for Black Enterprise. He recently did the Michigan Hip Hop Live on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History One-on-One Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid Al-Hakim directly at 313-655-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com, blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also email him bhistory101@yahoo.com, history101@yahoo.com.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. Comedicwear.com is the go-to online source for Comedic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique styles reflecting our African heritage. Comedicwear.com is inspired by ComedicScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at comedicwear.com.
Visit 4glossygirls.com. That's the number 4glossygirls.com, and follow them on Instagram at 4glossygirls.
Black Bees products are a collection of natural, organic, personal care products with an appreciation of nature and bees. Our philosophy is without bees, we have nothing. We are honoring our Nile Valley ancestors who understood the importance of bees. Black Bees create high-quality, natural, organic personal care line that will be affordable to everyone. We hope you try and enjoy our Black Bees products line and come back and visit us at blackbeesproducts.com.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation of Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, January 20th, 2021, and we are live. We're talking about the inauguration that took place, swearing in of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Then also we see that Reverend Raphael Warnock from Georgia and John Ossoff, they were sworn in also as U.S. senators today. Chuck Schumer is now Senate Majority Leader. And Mitch McConnell is now Senate Minority Leader. We see that there are about 15 executive orders that Joe Biden signed today. And we see Donald Trump flew off into the sunset. Okay. I'm waiting for the indictments to come Trump's way. So right before the break, we shared an excerpt of the speech that Joe Biden gave today. And then also, let's see, we have a clip of the swearing in of Kamala Harris. Let's go to clip 2, Shakita.
You are all about to be part of America is a historic moment of firsts.
Good evening.
To administer the oath to our first African American, our first Asian American, and our first woman vice president, Kamala Harris, it is my great privilege to welcome to the inaugural stage the first Latina to ever serve on the Supreme Court of the United States of America, Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Ladies and gentlemen, remain standing for the oath of office, followed by musical honors.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kamala Harris, do solemnly swear.
And Kamala Harris solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely,
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
That I will well and faithfully discharge
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
All right, pause right there. I just sent you, pause right there, Stephen. Pause it right there. All right, thank you. Okay, I just sent you another clip. Kamala Harris' first speech as vice president. Okay, so at noon today, we know Joe Biden was sworn in as the nation's 46th president, completing a tumultuous transfer of power in a time of unprecedented troubles for the nation. And also, we see Kamala Harris was sworn in as well. With new First Lady Jill Biden by his side, Joe Biden took his oath of office using a Bible that has been in his family since 1893. Then on the west front of the U.S. Capitol, the site of a deadly insurrection just 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden issued a call to unite a bitterly divided America. He said we must end the uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts. Joe Biden condemned the violence at the Capitol on January 6th when pro-Trump supporters invaded the building and delayed the congressional confirmation of Biden's victory. That confirmation, that certification by the joint session of Congress is mandated by the U.S. Constitution, as we said before. Biden said, here we stand just days after a riotous mob thought they could use violence to silence the will of the people. It did not happen. It will never happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. So as Biden took the oath of office, he's confronted with crisis on multiple fronts. Most immediately, the COVID-19 pandemic that has claimed over 400,000 lives in the U.S. and Congress has to push through that $1.9 trillion coronavirus bill that he's proposing. In his first act as president, Joe Biden asked the nation to join him in a moment of silence for the victims of COVID-19 and their families. Moments before Biden took his oath, Vice President Kamala Harris made history as well. First Black woman, first South Asian woman sworn in as vice president. There was, however, a conspicuous absence in the crowd. We know Donald Trump was not there. Michael Cohen said weeks ago that Donald Trump would not be at the inauguration, and he wasn't. And I don't think anybody really missed Donald Trump there. We know Vice President Mike Pence, former Vice President Mike Pence, was there, and he was welcome to attend. So before departing, Vice President Mike Pence shared a moment with new Vice President Kamala Harris on the steps of the Capitol. This was a scaled-down inauguration that was under heavy security, as we all know. So Barack Obama was there, Michelle Obama. I'm not going to get into all the fashion and stuff like that. You can read that online. I don't have this a 1 hour show. I don't have time to get to all the fashion. Michelle Obama did look good as hell with a mask on. Okay. I was like, damn. But anyway, all right. So there were 25,000 National Guard troops providing security after the FBI warned of more potential threats in the aftermath of the attack on the Capitol. Michelle Obama was wearing clothing, I think that was from an African-American designer as well. I think I saw that. All right, so yeah, there were celebrities there, Jennifer Lopez, all this stuff. Okay, didn't get past all that. Amanda Gorman, 22-year-old, became the African American woman, beautiful brown skinned sister with braids, became the youngest poet to perform at a presidential inauguration. Okay, we know that Kamala Harris was escorted by Eugene Goodman, the hero who, U.S. Capitol police officer, African American man who led the angry mob that attacked the Capitol away from the Senate chamber. Goodman has been promoted to acting deputy House Sergeant at Arms also. Let's see. Okay. All right. So when we go to, I want to look at executive orders. Let me see. Let's go to this clip here. This is an excerpt of Kamala Harris' first speech as vice president. Let's go to that clip I just sent you, Shakita.
It is my honor to be here, to stand on the shoulders of those who came before, to speak tonight as your vice president. In many ways, this moment embodies our character, demonstrating even in dark times. We not only dream, we do. We not only see what has been, we see what can be. We shoot for the moon, and then we plant our flag on it. We are bold, fearless, and ambitious. We are undaunted in our belief that we shall overcome, that we will rise up. This is American aspiration. In the middle of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln saw a better future and built it with land-grant colleges and the Transcontinental Railroad. In the middle of the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. King fought for racial justice and economic justice. American aspiration is what drove the women of this nation throughout history to demand equal rights, and the authors of the Bill of Rights to claim freedoms that had rarely been written down before. A great experiment takes great determination, the will to do the work, and then the wisdom to keep refining, keep tinkering, keep perfecting. The same determination is being realized in America today. I see it in the scientists who are transforming the future. I see it in the parents who are nurturing generations to come, in the innovators and the educators, in everyone, everywhere, who is building a better life for themselves, their families, and their communities. This, too, is American aspiration. This is what President Joe Biden has called upon us to summon now. The courage to see beyond crisis, to do what is hard, to do what is good, to unite, to believe in ourselves, believe in our country, believe in what we can do together. Thank you, and may God bless America.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Shakita. All right. Now, Joe Biden also mentioned fighting against white supremacy in his speech today, and that drew a lot of attention as well. Okay, because that's from what I'm hearing, that's like the first time a president in his inaugural speech has mentioned white supremacy. All right, let's see here. Okay, check out the article from NBCnews.com. Biden sworn in as president calls on Americans to end this uncivil war on political division. Biden sworn in as president calls on Americans to end this uncivil war of political division. Okay, this is from NBCnews.com. All right. Calling numbers 313-778-7600 if you have a quick question or comment. Also, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network. $, the AHN Show through Cash App. $, the AHN Show through Cash App. Then also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. And then also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. So being that we're here 6 days a week instead of 1 day a week, that definitely helps out, helps us keep doing the research, keep broadcasting, and stay on the air. All right, I want to look at executive orders. Okay. Washington Post has a good article. Biden signed several directives on first day, including mask mandate on federal property and rejoining Paris Climate Accord. And there was also one from NBC News. There was a short one from Reuters that we posted on my personal page, Michael Imhotep. There's NBC News also. Biden takes immediate steps to undo key Trump initiatives, unveils immigration plan. Joe Biden signed more than a dozen executive actions Wednesday when he arrived at the White House as the 46th president. Okay, I am going to, let's go to this clip here. We're going to go to clip 3, Shakita. Biden signs executive orders on mask mandate, racial equality, and rejoining Paris Accord. Let's go to this clip.
Well, this is going to be the first of many conditions we're going to have in here. And I thought that the state of the nation today is no time to wait, get to work immediately. As we've indicated earlier, we're going to be signing a number of executive orders over the next several days a week. And I'm going to start today. The compounding crisis of COVID and the COVID-19, along with the economic crisis following that, and climate crisis, racial equity issues, and some of the executive actions I'm going to be signing today are going to help change the course of the COVID crisis, and we're going to combat climate change in a way that we haven't done so far, and advance racial equity and support other underserved communities. We're going to rebuild our economy as well. And these are just all starting points, and we're going to, in the process of rebuilding the economy, do what I said throughout the campaign and while running rebuild the backbone of the country, middle class. And so there's going to be a lot of focus on that. And I think some of the things we're going to be doing are going to be bold and vital. And there's no time to start like today. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm proud of today's executive actions. I'm going to start by keeping the promises I made to the American people. Long way to go. These are just executive actions. They are important, but we're going to need legislation for a lot of the things we're going to do. And the first order I'm going to be signing here relates to COVID, and it's requiring, as I said all along, where I have authority, mandating masks be worn, social distancing be kept on federal property and interstate commerce, etc. So this is the first one I'm signing. And the second one I'm signing here is the support for underserved communities. And we're going to we have to make sure we have some bedrock equity, equality as it relates to how we treat people and healthcare and other things. And we'll give you copies of these executive orders. And third, I'm going to sign, and that's what I'm going to do while you're all here, is the commitment I made that we're going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord as of today. President wrote a very generous letter. It's because it was private. I will not talk about it until I talk to him, but it was generous.
Let's
okay.
Listen in.
All right, pause right there. Okay. That's from MSNBC. Biden signs executive orders on mask mandate, racial equality, and rejoining Paris Accord. I'm trying to get some more information on details of the executive orders, because the clip here, the link in the article from NBC News for the executive orders at whitehouse.gov, it says page not found. I'm looking at it now, and it says page not found. Let me see if I can do a quick, okay, I probably find it tomorrow. I'm on whitehouse.gov right now. So we see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But if we look at the article from, we'll look at this here from NBC News. So Biden's expected to sign. So he signed, it was about 15 executive orders today. 100 days masking challenge was one of the executive orders. Biden is asking every American to wear a mask in public for the next 100 days to slow the spread of COVID. He's also mandating masks be worn to all federal properties. Next, easing pandemic burdens. Biden is asking the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, to extend the federal moratorium on evictions until at least March 21st, 2021, until at least March 21st, 2021, and requesting the Department of Education extend the pause on student loan payments until at least September 30th, 2021. Next, rejoin the Paris Accord, fulfilling a campaign promise. Biden will bring the U.S. back into the international climate agreement and roll back a number of Trump's actions on the environment. So a number of the executive orders today dealt with reversing executive orders or policies from the Trump administration. Next, racial equality. This order is aimed at, quote, rooting out systemic racism and other barriers to opportunity from federal programs and institutions. That executive order also did away with Trump's 1776 commission. It also did away with Trump's 1776 commission, which has been condemned by many mainstream historians as an effort to rewrite America's history on racism and slavery. We talked about the 1776 commission on yesterday's show. Okay, the 1776 report that the Trump administration released on Dr. King Day, right? So we talked about that on yesterday's show. And then Joe Biden has, they've taken that off of, this is a 45-page report. They've taken it off of whitehouse.gov, and Joe Biden dissolved that commission also. There was an article from CNN that talked about that. I'm going to try to pull that one up here. That talked about the dissolving of that commission. All right. Preserve DACA. With this order, Biden will protect the Obama-era program that prevents some 700,000 so-called dreamers who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children from deportation. Biden is also proposing a sweeping immigration reform bill with an 8-year pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and stopping construction on Trump's border wall. So one of the executive orders today also stopped the construction on Trump's border wall, ending the travel ban. This executive order will undo another of Trump's earliest orders by putting an end to the ban on travelers from several Muslim majority countries. Then another executive order dealt with preventing sex-based discrimination. This order prohibits, quote, workplace discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity, end quote. All right, now, okay, so there was one from, we'll have more information on the executive orders on tomorrow's show once I could get this information from whitehouse.gov. Let's see here. Very quickly, if we look at CNN.com, we look at the article from CNN.com dealing with the 1776 report, the removal of it. Is from Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. Biden rescinds 1776 commission via executive order. Biden rescinds 1776 commission via executive order. And let's see here. And I hate these articles from CNN. President-elect Joe Biden on Wednesday issued an executive order to dissolve the 1776 commission. A panel stood up by Donald Trump as a rebuttal to schools applying a more accurate history curriculum around slavery in the U.S. Biden's transition team announced Wednesday. it was, as we talked about on yesterday's show, the 1776 report, and the 1776 is when the Declaration of Independence was signed. That was, this is basically looked at as a rebuttal to the 1619 project. And even though the 1619 project is flawed, like we said yesterday, still this 1776 report is just ridiculous. Okay. But it's been rescinded. The commission has been dissolved. But you can check out this article here from CNN.com. Let's see here. Let me scroll down very quickly here. So the commission has been formed as a parent counter to the New Times 1619 project, a Pulitzer Prize-winning project aimed at teaching American students about slavery that Trump speaking last fall had called toxic propaganda. So Donald called the 1619 project toxic propaganda. And usually when you have people like that, see, he didn't want to deal with the history of slavery. Didn't want to talk about that at all. Wanted to preserve Confederate monuments, preserve Confederate statues, military bases named after Confederate soldiers, things like this. Okay. And as I said, the 1776 project was released on Dr. King Day. In its report released Monday, the commission asserted that, quote, the civil rights movement was almost immediately turned to programs than counter to the lofty ideas of the founders, quote, specifically criticized affirmative action policies and arguing that politics are, quote, the opposite of the King's hope that children would live in a nation where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. Okay, nonsense like that. And as I said, yes, people don't want to deal with what Dr. King's main theme of the speech. Dr. King was about his speech originally called "See Never Again," and then it was called "A Cancel Check," and then it was called "I Have a Dream," because "I Have a Dream" is not the original name of the speech, because the speech wasn't about a dream. Dr. King was talking about dismantling white supremacy and racism. He's talking about fighting against segregation, fighting against voter suppression, fighting against Jim Crow, fighting against police brutality. These are all things he talks about in the speech. Okay, the speech is about 16 minutes and some change. You got to read the speech. You go to archives.gov, or you can go to online to the King Institute at Stanford University, stanford.edu. They should have it there also. You read the speech. Don't listen to it. You have to read the speech. Okay, Dr. King is dealing with all this stuff. When people try to distract and talk about a dream, they don't deal with any of those issues that Dr. King was calling America out on, and calling America out on her hypocrisy. And he was talking about holding America accountable for a promissory note given to us 100 years prior with the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. And when we take that promissory note to the bank to deposit it or cash it, is marked insufficient funds. All right, so read the rest of this here for the sake of time. We have any callers, Shakita? Let me know. Read the rest of this article here from CNN.com. And so they dissolved the 1776 commission. Now, I don't know if they've already, I don't know if they've already planned to do this. So if it happens, I'm not trying to take credit for it. Okay. I think the Biden and Harris administration should do a commission that deals with the real history of this country, something similar to the 1619 project, but much better, to actually deal with the real history of this country, because Americans are very ignorant of history. This is why you hear me talk about this study from the Southern Poverty Law Center, Teaching Hard History American Slavery, which documents how the history of slavery is being incorrectly taught in schools across the country. And they did surveys with about 1,000 high school seniors, but also about 1,700 social studies teachers across the country. And then it lays out all these recommendations on how to better teach the history of slavery in schools across the country. Okay, so I think they need to do need to put together a commission of historians to put together. So this was a 45-page report, the 1776 report. They need to do something like that to deal with the real history of this country, to educate people. Okay, HR 40 is not going to pass in the House of Representatives. It did. I know talk about reparations. You got to understand the process. It's a legislative process. It's not going to pass the House of Representatives. There's not enough votes in the House of Representatives to get HR 40 passed. There are less Democrats in the 117th Congress, which is the Congress that just got sworn in January 3rd. There's less Democrats in the 117th Congress than the 116th Congress. The 116th Congress is the Congress where June 19, 2019, you had the subcommittee hearing dealing with reparations, right? We all remember that on Juneteenth. Hell, you couldn't get it passed then because there weren't enough votes to support HR 40. I ain't talking about paying reparations. I'm talking about seeing reparations. If you can't get a bill passed to study reparations, how do you get one passed to pay reparations or distribute it? Whatever the hell you want to talk about, whatever you decide it should be distributed, however it should be, whatever it should include. If you can't get one passed to study reparations, how do you get one passed to distribute it? There's not enough people in the House of Representatives that support reparations who will actually vote on it. It's a legislative process, which means you got to vote more people in the office that support what you want. And the Senate is even worse because the Senate is 95% white. And the Black Tea Party Republican in the Senate, Senator Tim Scott, Black Tea Party Republican from South Carolina, already said he's not voting for reparations. So this is why I explain to people, you have to understand the process, okay? But one thing I think the Biden-Harris administration should do, and it may already be in the works. I don't know. So if it happens, I'm not trying to take credit for it, but they should do a commission dealing with the real history of this country to really educate people. Because as I said numerous times before, over the past few years, America needs a massive history lesson. Okay, on Sunday's show, we dealt with the whole process that went into lying to people about history and rewriting the history of the Civil War and promoting the whole lost cause. We talked about the curriculums that were created for Southern schools. We talked about United Daughters of the Confederacy that financed curriculums, textbooks, that had after-school programs that indoctrinated children, taught them songs like Dixie and things like this to rewrite Civil War history, where those people grow up to be politicians. Those people grow up to have children. Those people grow up to be politicians and judges, etc. Okay, so we really have to understand that America needs a massive history lesson. And to be real brutal with you, quite honest with you, one of the reasons why you can't get HR 40 passed in the House of Representatives is because most people in the legislative branch of government really don't think a debt is owed because they've been miseducated. I speak all across the country. I'm a historian. I do lectures all across the country. Americans in general are ignorant of history. There was a study, history and government, because when I was on Roland Martin's show last Friday, because I'm a panelist on every Friday, so I'll be back on this Friday, I talked about how there was a study in 2014 that dealt with how 2/3 of Americans could not name the 3 branches of government. Okay? 2/3 of Americans could not name the 3 branches of government. And let me see if we could pull this up quickly. Then there was another one. Alabama.com had this other study that showed 20% of Americans cannot name 1 branch of government. Okay, so for instance, we look at this one here from AL.com. 1 in 5 Americans can't name a single branch of government. Okay, a recent survey. Now, this article is from September 19th, 2019. Now, the three branches of government, Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama recently could not name the three branches of government. I know a couple years ago, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, couldn't do it, but hell, she was 29. That's bad. But it's, you know, she was a bartender before, you know, so it's like, it's bad. But Tommy Tuberville is what, in his 60s? And he's a U.S. senator and couldn't name the three branches of government? A recent survey found many need to go back to civics class, but civics has been taken out of school. Annenberg Public Policy Center's Civic Knowledge Survey found only 2 in 5 adults, or 39%, could correctly name the three branches of government: executive, legislative, judicial. That figure was the highest in 5 years, up from 32% last year. This article's from 2019. See, we don't understand how stupid people are in Congress. Really, these are the people that got to vote on reparations. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. We have to understand the process. A lot of people don't want to deal with the process. They just want to deal with, you know, whatever. All right, we're out of time here. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching. We're going to keep broadcasting. Our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. We're out of time here on 19 a.m. Superstation. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. Stand by. Stand by. All right. All right, we're going to keep going for a little while longer because it's been a long day, and I didn't get to bed about 5 in the morning. I was up editing video, everything, working on orders. Okay, I'm going to post this link here. All right.
Visit 4glossygirls.com. That's the number 4glossygirls.com, and follow them on Instagram at 4glossygirls. For 25 years, the Black History 101 Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black music movement in America, showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making the most traversed Black History mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El Kim is the founder of the Black History 1 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, and relations. Dr. Khalid was named among the changers for NBC Universal's Erase the Hate campaign and listed one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits wide. For more information, contact Dr. Khalid Al-Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4117, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymuseum.com. You can also email him at bhistory101@yahoo.com, bhistory101@yahoo.com. With blackbusinesstee.com, the messages are clear and meaningful. Keep your business in the black and out of the red. Mind your Black business. Know your numbers and plan strategically. Black Business Boss, lead your industry. Support Black business. Encourage, patronize, and uplift one another. BlackBusinessTea.com currently has products sold in Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles, with proceeds returned to the Black community. They have a wide selection of hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sweatshirts that support Black-owned businesses. Visit the website blackbusinesstee.com. That's blackbusinesstee.com.
Do you have an idea or business that requires app development or thinking of moving your IT resources to the cloud? We have post-paid and profit-sharing plans for unique ideas or profitable businesses. Who can take advantage of this unique program? Entrepreneurs with unique ideas, startups, small to medium businesses. Contact us 267-209-0352.
Visit nomadicsystems.net, nomadicsystems.net today. Soul Natural Beauty Products offers organic, plant-based skin and hair care products that will rejuvenate skin and naturally grow and thicken hair. Their whipped shea butter can heal or restore damaged skin cells to prevent hyperpigmentation and skin breakouts. All products are made with organic plant-based ingredients. Their maximum hair growth oil is fortified with organic herbal extracts and undeniably proves that Mother Nature knows best. It thickens, lengthens, softens, and conditions all types of hair. They even guarantee hair improvement within 90 days or a full refund. Their all-natural 24-hour deodorant leaves the body smelling fresh without sweating for up to 24 hours. It does not stain fabric, goes on smoothly, and has a refreshing lavender and frankincense aroma. It can be used by men and even children. Place your order today at soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com. That's soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com, and follow them on Facebook at Soul Natural Beauty Products.
Yeah, Dan Quayle couldn't spell potato. Okay, Vice President Dan Quayle, okay, to George Bush Sr. couldn't spell potato. See, my approach, my degree's in business administration, okay? In business school, we're taught how to solve problems. We're taught to understand systems, how to understand processes, how to solve problems. I don't keep going round and round and round in a circle dealing with the same thing. That's stupid. I don't deal with that. We deal with what's the process, what's the problem, how do we eliminate, how do we solve the problem. Civics has been taken out of school. African Americans don't understand the history of slavery. You think white people do? No, they don't. Half our people still think Willie Lynch historically existed. The Willie Lynch letter has been proven to be a fraud. Willie Lynch never historically existed. Dr. Kwame Ashanti came out and admitted he wrote the Willie Lynch letter back in about 1970. There are words in the Willie Lynch letter that didn't even exist in 1712. Those are 20th century words. So instead of dealing with a process to eliminate obstacles, people just keep running around with the same nonsense. I don't have time for that. So America has to have a massive history lesson and understand law, because when you look at page 8 of this study, they surveyed 1,000 high school seniors, and we're gonna keep moving on because I don't want to make this a 3-hour show like Sunday show, where Sunday was damn near 3 hours. I don't have time for that. Page 9. Only 8% of high school seniors surveyed can identify slavery as the central cause of the Civil War. All this ties into history. The policies, understanding when we deal with the maldistribution of wealth, power, resources, when we deal with understanding racism as a system of advantage and privilege distributed based upon race, which comes out of the ideology of European white supremacy, which is designed to preserve genetic white survival. When we deal with trying to get reparations to repair the damage. Okay, first of all, now what I say may go outside the circumference of some people's awareness. Just because you never heard it before, disagree with it, or don't like it, does not mean it's not true. Just means you have to do some research to understand what I'm talking about. When we deal with, see, this is one of the problems with equating reparations to a check. This is one of the problems. The root word or root meaning of reparations is to repair. Repair what? The damage that was done. The damage that was done from what? From slavery and the legacy of slavery. 246 years of slavery, decades of Jim Crow segregation, redlining, land being stolen from us, being locked out of opportunities like the 1862 Homestead Act that gave away 245 million acres of land, the 1866 Southern Homestead Act that gave away about 45 million acres of land, the Dawes Allotment Act of 1877 that gave away about 138 million acres of land. New Deal programs like the GI Bill, okay, all different types of things like this. Racism is a system of advantage and privilege distributed based upon race. So we can go from slavery to Reconstruction, 1865, 1877, Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896, U.S. Supreme Court case that legalizes Jim Crow. We can go all the way through history. We go from the Great Migration, 1915, 1970. We can go all the way up through history to today. They deal with the median household net worth of a white family being 10 times that of an African-American family, all the disparities. We look at the study from Citibank, and I did a deep presentation dealing with this, a study from Citibank that deals with how racism has cost the U.S. economy $16 trillion over 20 years. And it deals with how we've been locked out of opportunity when it comes to getting loans to own businesses, getting money to go to college so we can earn more. Okay, that all deals with racism. What happens is, with this study here, this shows how ignorant many people are about history. This deals with 12th graders. This deals with 12th graders in high school, seniors. Okay, well, if they're ignorant of history, it's most likely their parents are also. If they're ignorant of history, it's most likely their parents are also. Their parents are voters. Their parents support politicians. Their parents may be politicians. So oftentimes we don't understand how massive this problem is. 2/3 or 68% of the 1,000 high school seniors surveyed did not know that it took a constitutional amendment to formally end slavery. That's the 13th Amendment of 1865. The lack of understanding of history and understanding of law and understanding how government policies were put in place, even in the Constitution, to support slavery, okay? The lack of understanding of that is why a majority of Americans don't think a debt is owed. So we keep talking about going to the government to get something that most Americans don't think is owed, but also the people who represent them in Congress don't think is owed. This is why there has to be a massive history lesson. Your thoughts create feelings, your feelings create actions and behaviors, your actions and behaviors create results. People have been purposely miseducated on history. And then you had the lost cause effort financed by the United Daughters of the Confederacy to purposely miseducate people. This is what we're up against. Okay? Then you got people who don't understand that reparations is a legislative process, think it's an executive order. Well, you haven't read Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, because it clearly tells you that Congress controls the purse strings. Congress is a co-equal branch of government. Congress controls the purse strings. The executive branch of government submits the fiscal budget, the annual fiscal budget. Congress approves the budget. Congress controls the purse strings, not the executive branch of government. The judicial branch of government is another check. 3 co-equal branches of government. This is basic civics. This is why the courts are so important, because the courts interpret the laws passed by the legislative branch of government, U.S. House of Representatives and U.S. Senate. This is why Republicans work so hard to get 225 federal judges confirmed under Trump. That was more important to them than passing the coronavirus bill. And so the day after they got Amy Coney Barrett confirmed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and Trump got 3 Supreme Court justices confirmed, 1/3 of the Supreme Court justices Trump got confirmed, the very next day, Mitch McConnell sent the U.S. Senate on another recess, and still haven't passed the coronavirus bill. They eventually passed that $908 billion scaled down bill, which is scaled down from the $3.4 trillion bill that Democrats in the House of Representatives passed May 15th, 2020. But politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. This is what politics is. Politics impacts every aspect of our lives. from the water we drink to the air we breathe to the food we eat. We're dealing with laws, policies, etc. So we have to understand how all this comes together. All right. Now, okay, let's see here. So we'll have more information on executive orders tomorrow. Now, there was an article from Washington Post here, and I'm trying to consolidate all this. Biden signs executive orders as Democrats take control of the Senate. Biden signed several executive orders. Okay, let me see. This is the live updates. Let me go to the actual article here. Trump grants clemency. Just bear with me. How's everybody doing? This is why I need more than an hour for the show, but I don't want to do. I don't want to do a 2-hour show 6 nights a week. Sunday night show is 2 hours. I don't want to do. I'm already on the air 6 nights a week, but so Joe Biden signed a blizzard of executive orders Wednesday on the coronavirus, immigration, and climate change, launching a 10-day cascade of directives reversing policies of Donald Trump as Democrats push for even more sweeping and prompt legislative action. The most pressing of his priorities are measures to combat the ongoing deadly coronavirus. Biden signed executive actions to require masks on all federal grounds and asked agencies to extend moratoriums on evictions and student loan payments, etc. Okay. Now, let me see something here. Also, I watched the White House press secretary briefing that Jen Psaki did today. And that was the first time in about 2 years I watched I could watch a White House press secretary briefing without cursing. Because when Sarah Huckabee Sanders used to do them, oh my God, I had to stop watching. Oh my God. And then Kelly McEnany, that dumbass. But this was the first one. I mean, I watched the whole thing, didn't cuss one time. It's amazing when you have somebody has some sense and it's not standing up there just telling a bunch of lies. All right, let's see here. There was you know what? This I think this one from NBC News. Just bear with me, because I have a bunch of articles here. This one in. The one from NBC News, Biden takes immediate steps to undo key Trump initiatives, unveils immigration program. Okay, I gave you that title. There was, I'm trying to get more details on the executive orders, and the link they have in here is not working. Okay. We'll have more information about that tomorrow. When I can get more information on it. All right. Now, 143. Trump did 143 commutations and pardons and commutations, total of 143. And the other thing. So early in the show, I said that now it's time to really go to work. After all the pomp and circumstance, after the swearing in, now it's time to go to work and hold the Biden-Harris administration, as well as the 117th Congress. Hold them accountable. We have to organize, push these policies through the House of Representatives, push it through the Senate, get executive orders signed, things like this. Okay, so we're going to be covering this each day. This is why we have to organize and educate ourselves on the issues, educate ourselves on the policies, educate ourselves on what is the process. We need to study the rules of the U.S. Senate, understand unanimous consent, because unanimous consent blocks, a lot of bills get blocked based upon unanimous consent. Understand the rules of the House of Representatives. understand what's the process to actually get bills passed. People keep asking for something, they don't know how to bring it to existence. This is part of the problem. All right. Let's deal with the executive orders. We talked about this some last night. Washington Post has an article, Trump grants clemency to 143 people in late night pardon blast. So we know Lil Wayne, among those who were pardoned or who had their sentences commuted on Trump's final full day in office were Lil Wayne, former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick had his 20-year sentence commuted. We know Stephen Bannon got a pardon. His little criminal friend, Stephen Bannon, his former chief of staff and used to work in his administration. When we look at Kwame Kilpatrick, also Kodak Black got a pardon, I think it was also rapper Kodak Black. Now I hope Lil Wayne don't go out here and do something stupid again. I'm just saying, or Kodak Black. Let's see. There's a separate article from Washington Post. Lil Wayne, Kodak Black among pop culture figures granted clemency on Trump's final day in office. So some people are suspecting, okay, is this why Lil Wayne came out and endorsed Donald Trump and supported the Fool's Gold plan that Trump called a platinum plan? Is this why? Okay. Lil Wayne, 38 years old, had not yet been sentenced after pleading guilty in December to carrying a loaded firearm while traveling on a private jet. The rapper, whose real name is Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., was prohibited from owning guns because of a past felony conviction and faced up to 10 years in prison. When Carter was charged in November, his attorney, Howard Srebnick, cited an appellate dissenting opinion written by Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett, arguing permanently barring a non-dangerous felon from gun ownership violated the Second Amendment. Now, administration officials previously told the Washington Post Trump was considering Carter for a pardon. Okay, so he took a picture with Donald Trump and endorsed the platinum plan, the Fool's Gold plan, and which Trump campaign described at the time as an effort to increase access to capital in Black communities by almost $500 billion over 4 years. I never heard Donald Trump say that. That's what the Trump campaign said. Katrina Pearson, I never heard Trump say that, but okay. The White House release stated that former NFL player and current Jackson State University coach Deion Sanders had written in support for Carter. Kodak Black, sentenced in November 2019 to nearly 4 years in prison, also received a pardon on Wednesday. The rapper, who changed his legal name from Deuson Octave, Deuson Octave, to Bill Capri, had pleaded guilty to weapons charges stemming from his arrest at the Rolling Loud Festival in May 2019. In a court filing, he admitted to lying about his criminal history while acquiring firearms. Okay, that's brilliant. Other charges against Kodak Black, 23 years old, have involved kidnapping, drug possession, and sexual assault, with some still pending. In April 2019, Associated Press reported that he had been charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct for allegedly assaulting a high school student after a 2016 concert in Florence, South Carolina, and that he faced a maximum sentence of 30 years. Okay, now his pardon was for, Kodak sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison, also received a pardon Wednesday. Okay, so I think the pardon that he got from Trump was dealing with the 4-year sentence. In the court filing, he admitted to lying about criminal history while acquiring firearms. Okay. You can read the rest of this stuff here. All right, let's deal with Kwame Kilpatrick. Doing everybody share this broadcasting on social media platforms. All right. Let's see here. So we've got okay, WXYZ Channel 7 in Detroit has a story dealing with Kwame Kilpatrick, and then also Detroit Free Press. All the news outlets had them. We talked about this. The story broke on our show last night because we went like an hour. We went like an hour over. I'm not gonna do that tonight, but so we talked about it a little bit on our show last night. Then WXYZ Channel 7 in Detroit had a story today dealing with Kwame Kilpatrick. So let's pull this up here. And also the Detroit Free Press as well. So there had been rumors 2, maybe 3 times previously that Kwame Kilpatrick was going to be released from prison. We know right before the November 3rd election, there was a rumor again he was going to be released. It didn't happen. So it finally happened here. In his final hours in office, Donald Trump has commuted the sentence of former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. The White House issued a statement around 1 a.m. Wednesday morning, December 20th, that said President Trump commuted the sentence of the former mayor of Detroit, Kwame Malik Kilpatrick. This commutation is strongly supported by prominent members of the Detroit community, Alveda King, Nisa Dr. King, Alice Johnson, who Donald Trump first gave a commutation to in 2018, then gave a pardon to the day after she spoke at the 2020 Republican National Convention. Y'all all remember that, right? Diamond and Silk, okay, 2 pillars of the African American community, Diamond and Silk. Pastor Paula White, who said it was going to be African angels to keep Donald Trump in office. But it was some Africans, angels that showed up, but not the ones she wanted. Peter Kamanos, Representative Sherry Gay Dagnago of the Michigan House of Representatives, Representative Karen Whitsett of Michigan, of the Michigan House of Representatives, and more than 30 faith leaders. So Kwame Kilpatrick has served approximately, Mr. Kilpatrick has served approximately 7 years in prison for his role in a racketeering and bribery scheme. While he held public office during his incarceration, Mr. Kilpatrick has taught public speaking classes and has led Bible study groups with his fellow inmates. That's a statement from the White House, the Trump White House. Kilpatrick, 49 years old, has served 7 years of a 28-year sentence on racketeering, extortion, bribery, and other charges related to several crimes when he was Detroit mayor from 2002 to 2008. Back in November, Ayanna Kilpatrick, sister of the former mayor, claimed her brother would get an early COVID-19 compassionate release from federal prison. That did not happen. Kilpatrick was not expected to be released from federal prison until January 18, 2037. So a lot of people in Detroit, are saying, well, it's not that he wasn't guilty, but 28 years is way too long. 28 years is excessive. Now, not on the list of pardons or commutations was his father, Bernard Kilpatrick, or his friend, Bobby Ferguson. Bernard Kilpatrick completed a 15-month sentence on a charge of subscribing false tax returns, or I think they mean submitting false tax returns, while Bobby Ferguson is still in federal prison after getting a 21-year sentence. In January, billionaire Peter Kamanos, a longtime friend of Kwame Kilpatrick, said he was working to get President Donald Trump to pardon the ex-mayor. Then in February, State Representative Sherry Gay Dagnago delivered a letter to Trump signed by pastors and mayors requesting the sentence be commuted. Okay, because Kwame Kilpatrick was not pardoned, his conviction stands, meaning under Michigan state law, he would not be able to run for office for 20 years after the conviction, which came down in 2013. Also, so the conviction stands. So with a pardon, as I said at the beginning of the show, pardon wipes out the conviction, erases it from your record. Okay. With a commutation, a commutation wipes out the rest of the time that you have to serve, but the conviction is still on your record. That's a commutation. All right. Current U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan, Matthew Schneider, released a statement, and okay, he's referenced in the clip I'm about to play because the U.S. Attorney's Office was not too happy. So let's go to this clip here from WXYZ Channel 7. Let's just see. Let's cue this up.
Granted, in recognition of the...
Just a second here. Is that the right clip? Hold on. Let me see something here. Is that the right one? All right. We'll go to this in just a second. Stand by. Okay. So here's the thing. As Trump stated in the commutation, Kwame still has to pay the $4.7 million he owes the city of Detroit. We'll go there in just a second here. Stand by. Wait.
Also today, big news coming from former President Donald Trump. He commuted the sentence of former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick.
In granting clemency, Trump concluded that Kilpatrick had paid his dues and that he was not a threat to society, but still required him to pay nearly $5 million in restitution.
So what's next for the former mayor? Our team coverage begins with 7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner, who has that side of the story.
Priority 1 will be reuniting with his family and his 3 sons. That's in other states. Here in Detroit, this is an election year. Kilpatrick can't run for mayor now, but he could influence the voters and back a candidate. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan tweeting out this morning, Kwame Kilpatrick is a person of great talent who still has much to contribute. I know how close he is to his 3 sons, and I could not be happier for them being together again. This is a decision President Trump got right. The mayor declined an interview. Kilpatrick supporters say the former mayor is a force.
If he weighs in, he's going to have impact, and the current mayor knows that. And so that's why even he said that the president made the right decision.
President Trump does not.
So that was Sherry Gate Nago, Michigan State Representative, speaking. Is she still in? I think she's. Okay. Let's go back to this.
Not let Kilpatrick walk free and clear. Trump leaves intact $4.7 million in restitution, $2,500 in a special assessment, and 3 years supervised release, probation in the federal system, which will include conditions.
Do you want him to pay? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he robbed the money from the people of the city of Detroit. He stole the money from the city. He should pay every dime of it back.
Trump also.
So that's U.S. Attorney in Michigan, Matthew Schneider, who just spoke. Sherry Gay Nago, former Michigan State House of Representatives.
Wrote in the clemency order that the ends of justice do not require Kilpatrick to stay in prison until his projected release date of 2037. Trump said the safety of the community will not be compromised if Kilpatrick is released. In 2010, Michigan passed a constitutional amendment that bans convicted public officials from running for state or local office for 20 years. Kilpatrick has 13 more years to go.
I would like to see him any leadership capacity that he would like to be in.
He could run for Congress now, as a matter of fact, because that is not a federal ban.
The next election for Congress is next year, 2022. In downtown, Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Okay, so that's from WXYZ Channel 7 in Detroit. And I think there was another story they had. Okay, let's go to this. Okay, wait for that to queue up. Just a second here. Stand by, everybody. We'll go to this other clip here in just a second. Okay, this is from this article is from January 20th, 2021, WXYZ Channel 7 in Detroit.
Yeah, it's a surprise I woke up to. We've been hearing about the possibility for some form of clemency for Kwame Kilpatrick for the better part of a year now. Now, we're receiving official word from the White House via a press release that his sentence is being commuted. Information from otherwise credible sources over the past 8 months turned out to be rumors, never catching up with reality until now. Former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick's 28-year prison sentence is being commuted after serving 7 years for a racketeering and bribery scheme while holding public office, a decision issued by President Trump overnight, the same day he is to leave office. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, a commutation means Kilpatrick's sentence will be lessened, either partially or completely, but does not remove the conviction. A pardon represents, quote, an expression of the president's forgiveness and ordinarily is granted in recognition of the applicant's acceptance of responsibility for the crime, end quote. In a release, the Trump administration states, quote, this commutation is strongly supported by prominent members of the Detroit community, Alveda King, Alice Johnson, Diamond and Silk, Pastor Paulo White, Peter Carmanos, State Representatives Sherry Gay Danyogo, Karen Whitsett, as well as more than 30 faith leaders, end quote.
Okay. Oh.
Pardons and 70 commutations. Kilpatrick's co-defendant by, as well as more than 30 faith leaders, end quote. Now, the president issued 73 pardons and 70 commutations. Kilpatrick's co-defendant, Bobby Ferguson, was not on that list. Reporting live this morning, Darren Cunningham, 7 Action News. All right.
Okay. So that's from WXYZ Channel 7 in Detroit. Okay. Now, somebody asked about the link to debunking the Willie Lynch letter. Go to manuampim.com, manuampim.com. That's Professor Manu Ampim. He's a historian. He's a friend of mine. He has 3 essays there, Death to the Willie Lynch letter. I've interviewed him. We've done an entire show where we go through and break down the Willie Lynch letter, show how it's a fraud. You have words in the Willie Lynch letter like, first of all, the syntax from early 18th century in England, the British syntax is different than 20th century syntax sentence structure in the U.S. There's numerous clues to show it's a fraud. Let's see here. It's under Urban Myths. Go to Manu, M-A-N-U, manuampim.com. Let's see here. Let's turn this on. And then we've done, I guess I have to re-air the, and I've done lectures on the Willie Lynch letter, also go through and show you, break it down, show you how it's a fraud. You have words in there like self-refueling, which is a 20th century word, not 18th century. Okay. And the other thing is, when you study history, you don't read about a Willie Lynch, who was a British slave owner that taught English colonists how to maintain slaves. Willie Lynch doesn't exist in history. When you actually study history, Willie Lynch doesn't exist in history. Now, in the 19th century, there was a Captain Willie Lynch. That's somebody entirely different. You know, we fall for a lot of this just simple Simon nonsense. All right. So go to manuampim.com. I interviewed him back in June, July, when we talked about the passing of Representative John Lewis. We talked about Kwame Ture and the Black Power movement, things like this, and comments that Bill Clinton made at John Lewis' funeral about Kwame Ture and the Black Power and the movement going the wrong direction for a few years. Now, what people didn't realize is that's John Lewis felt. John Lewis felt the movement went the wrong direction. That's something we talked about. I'm like, you know, people may get mad at Bill Clinton for saying it, but Bill Clinton was good friends with John Lewis. That's how John Lewis felt. John Lewis wasn't a Black Power person or Black. John Lewis left SNCC when he lost the chairmanship to Kwame Ture because SNCC was going in another direction and embracing Black Power. Black Power comes out of SNCC. Black power comes out of SNCC. This is before the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense was founded in October 1966 by Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton. Okay. All right. So if we go here, go to publications, go to urban myths, death of the Willie Lynch speech, essays 1, 2, and 3. Essay 1 is extensive. You can read this yourself. He goes through, breaks all this stuff down. He's a historian. I mean, a lot of the tactics that are talked about in Willie Lynch speech, that's not even what they use when you actually study history. Not what you think happened, what actually happened. Okay. We'll post this link here. He has 3 essays. Go read this. Willie Lynch letters prove fraud. And to see this is the example I'm talking about. People up here trying to get reparations don't understand history, don't even understand how to make the legal arguments for what it is they want. This is why I said America needs a massive history lesson. Okay, America needs a massive history lesson. They don't teach etymology in their schools. Maybe not in vocabulary class when maybe not necessarily teach it as a separate class, but you go to the dictionary. If your children have vocabulary in their language arts classes, when they go to the dictionary, first of all, get a dictionary that deals with the etymology, the word origins. Okay. And if you go to Merriam-Webster online, when you look up definitions of the words, they have the etymology of the words there also. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so everybody check all this stuff out here. And check out Manu and Pim and Google his name or my name. It'll come up with the interviews I've done with them as well, because we did an extensive one. He also wrote a book called Death to the Willie Lynch speech or letter, or something like that. I think it was as well. All right. I want to go quickly here to this last one. Okay. Birthday shout outs. Questlove of the Roots. Which day was his birthday? Because we didn't get a chance, ran out of time on yesterday's show, didn't get a chance to talk about it. January 20th, 1971. Okay. So Questlove turns 50 years old today. Musician and music journalist Amir Khalib Thompson. He is the drummer and joint frontman for the Grammy Award-winning band The Roots. The Roots have been serving as the in-house band for The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon since February 17th, 2014. Questlove is also one of the producers of the Broadway musical Hamilton. He is the co-founder of OK Player and OK Africa. Additionally, he is okay. So those are publications. I didn't know Questlove. So when I saw this today, I just found out that Questlove was the co-founder of that. OK Africa is a Nairobi-based. Crime is the first example of streaming platform. OK Africa is a digital media platform dedicated to African culture, music, and politics, founded in 2011 by Vanessa Ruble, Wruble, and Jenny Suss, Suss, as a sister site to the Roots frontman Questlove's OK Player. The site has become a popular destination for Africans on the continent in the diaspora, OK Africa. Because I've read articles before from OK Africa also. And then also OK Player as well. All right. So let's turn on the screen share quickly here. So these are some good things that he's doing. OK Africa. I get a lot. I read a lot of articles from face-to-faceafrica.com also. But OK Africa does more with music, arts, things like that. OK Africa. Okay. So you can check this out, okafrica.com. And then the other one is okplayer.com as well. Okay, okplayer.com. Yeah, because I've read content from them also. Let's see. Let's close out this little ad down here. Let's look at okplayer.com. Not to be confused with the Ohio players. Okay, this is OK Player. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so OK Player. Some content. They're talking about Sade Sade and Kamala Harris and Black designers for Inauguration Day. Top stories. Okay, so we've got this also. Okay, MF Doom. Remembering MF Doom. All right, so check that out. Okay, so Questlove is the co-founder of OK Player and OK Africa. Additionally, he is an adjunct instructor at the Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music at New York University. Okay, so that information comes from the National R&B Music Society, Inc., the National R&B Music Society, Inc., and then there were some other birthdays we did not get a chance to acknowledge. Okay, Margaret Avery Young from The Color Purple. Margaret Avery, actress and singer. She began her career appearing on stage and later has had starring roles in films including Cool Breeze, which was Which Way Is Up, Scott Joplin, and The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. And let me see, was that hold on, was that her? No, it was another woman I was thinking of. Yo, no, that's who. Yeah, that's who they said. They didn't mention Color Purple here. Let's see here. She was Suge Avery in The Color Purple. So she was born January 20th, 1944. Maybe it's a good reason why they didn't mention Color Purple. So we're not gonna get into that, but let's see. Oh, Lead Belly. Okay, not to be confused with Blind Mellow Jelly, but Lead Belly's birthday was January 20th. He was born in 1888. Okay, damn, he was born like 23 years after slavery ended. Okay, he died December 6, 1949. Okay. So remembering Lead Belly on the day of his birth. Okay, born January 20th, 1888. His name was Huddy William Ledbetter. Huddy William Ledbetter. He was a folk and blues musician notable for his strong vocals, virtuosity on the 12-string guitar, and the folk standards he introduced. He is best known as Lead Belly. Lead Belly, not to be confused with Blind Mellow Jelly. I Want My Daddy's Records Back on Sanford and Son. Though many releases credit him as Lead Belly, he himself, many releases credit him as Lead Belly as one word, Leadbelly, as one word. He himself wrote it as two words, Lead Belly, Lead, capital Belly, which is also the spelling on his tombstone and the spelling used by the Lead Belly Foundation. I never heard of the Lead Belly Foundation. Okay. Now, Lead Belly songs covered a wide range of genres and topics, including gospel music, blues, blues about women, liquor, prison life, and racism, and folk songs about cowboys, prison, work, sailors, cattle herding, and dancing. He also wrote songs about people in the news, such as President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Adolf Hitler, John Harlow, Jack Johnson, first African-American heavyweight champion Jack Johnson, the Scottsboro Boys, and Howard Hughes. Lead Belly was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988 and the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame in 2008. Okay, so and now he was born January 20th, January 20th, 1888. January 20th, 1888. He was born, and he passed away on December 6th, 1949. All right, so happy birthday also to the great Lead Belly. And then Angela Winbush. Now, we posted this on January 18th. Angela Winbush turned 66 on January 18th, and she was born in 1955. The singer, songwriter, musician who rose to fame in the 1980s. R&B duo, first with the R&B duo Renee and Angela, also scoring hits as a solo artist. To date, Angela Wimb has sold over 10 million albums and singles worldwide. Before performing in 1977, Renee Moore, the brother of Rufus Bobby Watson, played with the brothers Johnson. Angela Winbush had sung backup vocals for Dolly Parton, Lenny Williams, and Gene Carn. Now, Renee and Angela had their first R&B hit for Capitol Records in 1980 and proceeded to have 7 other hits over the next 3 years. In 1985, the duo switched to Mercury Records, where they had the #1 hit, Save Your Love for #1, with their first single from the album, Street Called Desire. Over the next year, the group Renee and Angela had 3 other top 10 hits, including the #1 single, Your Smile, and the #2 single, You Don't Have to Cry, before pursuing solo careers in the mid-'80s. So also happy birthday to Angela Winbush, born January 18th, 1955. All right. Okay, then also Sean Wayans of the Wayans family, born January 19th, 1971. He turned 50 years old as well. He's the brother of Marlon, Keenan, Ivory Wayans, Damon Wayans Sr., etc. All right, and then one that I forgot, Janice Marie Johnson. Janice Marie Johnson, a member of the musical group A Taste of Honey. She turned 67 on January 8th, 1954. All right, and then I don't think I talked about this. David Ruffin. We're in Motown. We had to talk about David Ruffin and the Temptations. January 18th, it was so busy. We were covering Dr. King and all this stuff going on. January 18th, 1941, David Ruffin was born. He passed away tragically June 1st, 1991, a member of the Temptations. So David Ruffin was a soul singer and musician, most famous for his work as one of the lead singers of the Temptations during the group's Classic 5 period, as it was later known. He was the lead voice on such famous songs as My Girl and Ain't Too Big. My Girl was recorded in November 1964 and released a month later. It became the group's first #1 single in 1965. My Girl subsequently became the Temptations' signature song and elevated Ruffin to the role of lead singer and frontman. Now, we all remember, right, the 5 Heartbeats, okay? And was that Leon in the 5 Heartbeats? Okay, we all remember his character. I think that was, I always get them mixed up, but I think that was Leon. right? He was like the I think Leon was the David Ruffin like character, right? In the 5 Heartbeats. Let's see here. And let's let me post this again here. Yeah, because I knew there was a bunch of birthday acknowledgments I did not get a chance to get to because we just had so much information to cover, so much about Dr. King, and then we're gonna squeeze in this second clip here of Dr. King on the was that Mike Douglas show. We're going to go to that in just a second. So just bear with me, everybody. Okay, just bear with me. And then I'll be back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. Friday is a very busy day. I do this show at 11 p.m. and do Roland's show at 6 p.m. Let's see here. Okay, let's turn on the screen share. So people ask, how do we hold them accountable? Okay, well, I encourage people to download the document called Indivisible at indivisibleguide.com and Google Indivisible. And Indivisible, I've talked about that a number of times here. Okay, Indivisible deals with how it was a document put together by former congressional staffers. And they looked at the tactics that the Tea Party used to block initiatives from President Obama. And they put together a document to fight against the Trump administration. Okay, I've talked about that many times. I have a copy of it in my backpack. And let's see here. So one of the things they do, they teach you how to interact with your member of the House of Representatives, with your member of the U.S. Senate, how to put pressure on them. They have form letters there. They teach you how to communicate with them, how to push your agendas. So back during, and I first found out about it from the Rachel Maddow show. Okay. And back during, when you had the whole fight to repeal the Affordable Health Care Act, okay, you had organizations popping up around the country. Thousands of people were organizing around the country. They had protests outside of their member of the House of Representatives office or their member of the U.S. Senate office on every Tuesday. Thousands, tens of thousands of people around the country were organizing based upon this document, Indivisible. Okay. Now, a lot of African Americans didn't know about it. Why? I don't know. But white people were organizing. And they were sending emails, calling their members of the House of Representatives, especially members of the U.S. Senate, showing up outside their offices, showing up at their offices. Okay. So here's the link to the original Indivisible. You can research this because they came out with another one. But Indivisible, that Indivisible guide, that worked. People talked about how it worked. And then when they had the Women's March, there's like 1 million women showed up, and women were organized all across the country. Many of those new women organizations organized based upon Indivisible. Okay. So, yeah, some of us talking about why we gonna vote and all this. Okay, whatever. People were organizing, kicking butt. So check out Indivisible. This is why it's important to be part of organizations that are pushing legislation as well. There's an economic component. We have to leverage our economics to enforce our politics. This is why it's also important to target various corporations that are financing our own oppression and target corporations that are, for instance, in June of 2017 in the city of New York. Okay, you had city of New York employees who divested $48 million of pension fund dollars from 3 privatized prisons because they found out that their pension. See, a lot of people are invested in privatized prisons and don't know it. It's through their 401k plans, through their pension funds. I'm not against 401k plans. I'm not against pension funds. I'm just against our dollars being used against us. Okay. So June 8, 2017, New York Daily News had this article. I've talked about it a number of times. I dealt with it in presentations. There are numerous examples of different types of economic withdrawal strategies. This is just one. All right. Let's go to this here. Because a lot of people spend time and they dealing with a whole bunch of theory and BS. Okay, I don't deal with that. I can show you actual examples of what I'm talking about. A lot of people can deal with stuff and then it takes 20 years for that stuff to work, or what if it's gonna work at all, and if it's not. There's a lot of stuff that sound good in documentaries and stuff like that. That shit don't work. I'm telling you right now, I'm in 7 documents. A lot of that stuff sounds good. It sounds good when there's nobody there to ask questions or push back that knows what the hell they're talking about. Well, it sounds real good in documentaries and panel discussion stuff like that. A lot of that stuff don't work. But I deal with real, actual documented examples of what I'm talking about. This is one of them. New York NYC pension fund to back out of investments in private prisons. They actually did this June 8th, 2017. The city has sold off about $48 million in stocks and bonds of 3 private prison companies, according to Comptroller's office, after a unanimous vote from the fund's trustees. The move comes after cascading federal audit of private prison facilities last year, and after 8 detainees have died in the last fiscal year when private immigration detention centers, which house 5 of immigration and custom enforcement detainees. Okay. So what happened was they found out they were investing in privatized prisons. Geo Group, Core Civic, G4S. Now, Geo Group and Core Civic donated almost $600 to the Trump's 2016 campaign. Trump supported privatized prisons, which is why he was elected through the Electoral College, why he reversed the initiative in August 2016 from the administration to abolish privatized prisons at the federal level. Well, most of us didn't know that. Because in August 2016, the Obama Department of Justice said we're not going to renew federal contracts for privatized prisons. Trump supported privatized prisons. So this is why a lot of these privatized prison companies, Corsi and Geo Group, were getting massive contracts to house migrant workers coming to house migrants coming across the southern border. And when you go research this, and I have, because I deal with this in some of my lectures, see, private prisons were losing money under the Obama administration because the U.S. prison population dropped to the lowest point in 20 years in December 2015. And the prison population of African Americans dropped from 40% to about 34% as well. They were losing money under President Obama. When Trump got in office, and it was in about February of 2017, Jeff Sessions, Trump's first attorney general, reversed that initiative from the Obama administration. The stock price of Core Civic and Geo Group jumped that day that announcement was made. Follow the money. All right. So we're talking about David Ruffin quickly here. Let's go back to this. David Ruffin and the Temptations. His birthday was January 18th. Okay. What did I just do? All right, so January 18th, 1941. Now, My Girl was recorded in November 1964, and a month later, it became the first #1 single. It became the group's #1 single in 1965. My Girl subsequently became the Temptations' signature song and elevated David Ruffin to the role of lead singer and frontman. follow-up to My Girl, the follow-ups to My Girl were also extremely successful singles and included the Roughhead hits Growing in 1965, Since I Lost My Baby in 1965, My Baby 1965, Ain't Proud to Big 1966, Beauty Only Skin Deep 1966, I Know I'm Losing You 1966, All I Need 67. Okay, too many hits. So Ruffin also shared lead vocals on the 1967 hit My Everything with Eddie Kendricks. The tall 6'3" David Ruffin's passionate, dramatic performances endeared him to the Temptations audience and fans, according to Otis Williams. David Ruffin is the founder of the Temptations. David Ruffin, playfully nicknamed Ruff by the group, was a natural comedian, a hard-working singer when he first joined the group. Ruffin's most notable non-vocal contribution to the Temptations was masterminding of their trademark four-headed microphone stand. The masterminding of their trademark four-headed microphone stand enabled the other members to sing and do their dances without having to crowd around one microphone while the lead singer would sing into a separate microphone. Okay. All right. So rest in peace, David Ruffin, and happy birthday, also born January 18th, 1941. All right. Okay, let's go to this clip here from this is November 2nd, 1967. Okay. Dr. King was on the Mike Douglas show. Mike Douglas was a talk show host. What the hell just happened? Mike Douglas was a talk show host in the 1960s and 70s. He had a TV talk show, the Mike Douglas show. We shared the first excerpt of this clip on Tuesday's show. Okay. And here is part two. This is November 2nd, 1967, a few months before Dr. King's assassinated. And they're talking about Dr. King's opposition to the Vietnam War. All right. Also, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. PayPal.me/the AHN Show, and at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And also African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customersservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com or AHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Because sometimes when we respond to you, it goes to voicemail. I mean, it goes to junk mail. Okay, so you can also email us at AHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Okay, I want to go to the second clip here in this interview.
Committed to civil rights in the beginning. Truly committed to civil rights in the beginning.
Dr. King, Carl Rowan, our former ambassador to Finland, has said that your statements against Negro participation in the war have, and I quote, alienated many of the Negro's friends and armed the Negro's foes. What is your comment on that statement?
Well, I'm sorry to have to disagree very vigorously with Mr. Rowan on that. I go back to the same statement that people who have been alienated as a result of this stand against the war were alienated anyway. Many people supported us in civil rights when we were in Selma, Birmingham, because they were against the brutality of a Bull Connor, Jim Clark, and they were deeply outraged about these things. And they supported us because they were against that brutality, not because they were for genuine equality for the Negro. And if anybody's been alienated, it's been because they were really not absolutely committed to the ideal of genuine equality for the Negro. And any little excuse that comes along, they will use that. But the basic thing is that they were not committed anyway.
This equality for the Negro that you mentioned, how much longer are the Negro people willing to wait for this equality, which is certainly due them?
The mood in the Negro community, as you know, is a mood of great disappointment and despair and even bitterness as a result of the slow pace of progress and as a result of the fact that in some instances things have gotten worse, particularly in the economic area. And I think the impatience is very deep and the discontent is very broad. And if something isn't done with haste to remove the intolerable conditions that exist in our communities all over the nation, then I see us sinking into darker nights of social disruption.
Doctor, do you believe that your remarks have put a strain on the relations of the civil rights movement? You believe so?
Well, not really. As I said, many people, white and Negro, are deeply opposed to the war in Vietnam. Interestingly enough, when I first spoke out against the war, only 21% of the American people were against it. Both the Gallup and the Harris polls reveal now that the majority of Americans are against the war in Vietnam. Some 48% are now opposed to the war in Vietnam. 10% remain undecided. And you have about 42% who are still in favor. So you have a majority opposed to the war in Vietnam. And I haven't seen the great opposition to my position that so many people would state. The other thing is that a man of conscience can never be a consensus leader. He doesn't take a stand in order to search for consensus. He's ultimately a molder of consensus. And I've always said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and moments of convenience, but where he stands in moments of challenge and moments of controversy. And I would take this position even if I didn't have a majority of people agreeing with me now.
Using your feeling about unilateral and the way France settled, which was very well done, they didn't lose face. Apparently, face is the important thing at this time. But not only are we losing face, but it would be better to save lives. We know that. Mm-hmm. Who will be the GOAT if someone takes upon themselves to end this war and settle it unilaterally? Will there be a constant complaint, what a big waste this one? Will this set a precedent for the United States in the future of defending our inheritance, our independence?
Well, I think we have to look at several things here. First, in my mind, peace is much more important than peace. I think there has to be a transformation here in terms of our thinking, and in terms of peace. We've got to come to see now that peace must not only be a goal that we talk about and seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal. The other thing is this, that even though the mood of the country may not be in line with the unilateral withdrawal now, I think there are things that can be done to bring about a negotiated settlement. Now, there are many people who have talked very closely with the leaders of North Vietnam and the National Liberation Front, who tell us if we bring about an unconditional halt in the bombings, this would get talks going. Our government has refused to do that. And I feel that since we took the initiative in escalating the war in the air and on the land and on the seas, then we have a moral obligation to take the initiative to de-escalate it. And I think we can do that by bringing about a halt to the bombings. And our security...
Do you think that would do it, by halting the bombing? Would that do it?
Well, as I said, I can only go by men like you, Trump, the Russian leaders, and many other people who have talked very closely with the leadership of North Vietnam and the National Liberation Front. I think we ought to try it anyway. I think we ought to bring about an unconditional halt to the bombings. And we should do that for practical reasons in terms of trying to get talks started. And I think we should do it for moral reasons. They are never going to negotiate as long as we're bombing that territory.
How about your relationship with President Johnson? Have you lost favor with Mr. Johnson?
Well, I guess the president would have to answer that question. I have taken a position against the administration's policy. And I would hope the president means what he says when he says that there should always be room for dissent. We come to a tragic period in our nation when we equate dissent with disloyalty. I believe firmly that it is necessary to have these moments of dissent in order to challenge something that may be leading the whole nation down the wrong path.
Do you care if you have lost favor with Mr. Johnson?
Well, that isn't, I guess, the most important thing to me. The important thing is that I not lose favor with truth and with what conscience tells me is right and what conscience tells me is just. I'm much more concerned about keeping favor with these principles than keeping favor with a person who may misunderstand the position I take.
We will.
He said, I'm more concerned about keeping favor with the principles than keeping favor with the person. Let me go back to this for just a second.
And with what conscience tells me is right and what conscience tells me is just. I'm much more concerned about keeping favor with these principles than keeping favor with a person who may misunderstand the position I take.
We will talk further with Dr. Martin Luther King following these messages.
Okay, so we'll share some more of that interview on tomorrow's show. All right, look, hey, we have to get out of here. We're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. And then Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All of my DVD lectures are there and digital downloads. We have the 8 DVD bundle pack, The Africans Who Were Here Before Columbus, The Africans Who Were Here Before Columbus. It includes a double lecture I've done with Dr. David Imhotep, who wrote the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. Also includes a double lecture I did with Professor Kabahai Wata Kamene, who's in the Hidden Colors documentaries. Also, we have lectures from Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, etc. And we also have the Black Migration 1619 to 2019 bundle pack also. That's 6 of my lectures. Black Migrations 1619 to 2019. All right. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. Thanks for tuning in.
For 25 years, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most diverse Black History mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid L. Kim, founder of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. He is a highly sought after public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum study, hip-hop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was among the change makers for NBC Universal's The Hate Campaign and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid Al-Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also email them at bhistory101@yahoo.com, bhistory101@yahoo.com. With blackbusinesstee.com, the messages are clear and meaningful. Keep your business in the black and out of the red. Mind your black business, know your numbers, and plan strategically. Black Business Boss, lead your industry. Support black business, encourage, patronize, and uplift one another. BlackBusinessTea.com currently has products sold in Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles, with proceeds returned to the black community. They have a wide selection of hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sweatshirts that support black-owned businesses. Visit the website blackbusinesstee.com. That's blackbusinesstee.com.
Black Bees products are a collection of natural, organic, personal care products with an appreciation of nature and bees. Our philosophy is without bees, we have nothing. We are honoring our Nile Valley ancestors who understood the importance of bees. Black Bees created a high-quality, natural, organic personal care line that would be affordable to everyone. We hope you try to enjoy our Black Bees products line and come back and visit us at blackbeesproducts.com.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. Kemeticwear.com is the go-to online source for Kemetic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique styles within our African heritage. Kemeticwear.com is inspired by KemeticScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at Kemeticwear.com.
Do you have an idea or business that requires app development or thinking of moving your IT resources to the cloud? We have post-paid and profit-sharing plans for unique ideas or profitable businesses. Who can take advantage of this unique program? Entrepreneurs with unique ideas, startups, small to medium businesses. Contact us 267-209-0352.
Visit nomadicsystems.net, nomadicsystems.net.